Greg?
Coach, aside from the shooting of Louisville, upon film review, what were some things that you liked and didn't like?
There were a lot of things. We spent probably days are running together again. We gave the day off the day after a game, and the next day we came in, so I guess it was Wednesday. Yeah. And we practiced for about an hour and a half, and then went and did film study, tape study, whatever you want to call it, for 45 minutes. And I said, yes, we didn't shoot the ball very well. But if we'd have done this better, we wouldn't be talking about our shooting. If we'd have done this better, we wouldn't be talking. If we'd have done this better. So there were a lot of things that we showed them, and it wasn't just shooting the ball in the basket. I mean, you guys have heard me say hundreds of times, everything looks better when the ball goes in the basket. But we had some breakdowns on the defensive end of the floor, had some breakdowns on our box outs, had some breakdowns on setting screens, you know, so whether that helps us or hurts us, we'll have to wait and see to the next game. But I think the players understand it's not just shooting the ball, because we had some major breakdowns, and we knew we were going to get a great effort from them. You know, I think that our guys would give a great deal of effort, even more so after a tough loss. And but we didn't match their intensity. We didn't match their attention to detail. We didn't match their effort of keeping them off the boards as much as they tried to keep us off the boards. And we didn't shoot the ball in, so it was a lot of different things.
Did you like seeing Marcus a little more aggressive in the second half in particular?
Yeah, you know, when he made the first one the second half, and not too long after that, he made a nice drive. I really said, well, it's going to be the Marcus of old kind of thing, but it didn't continue. But I keep telling everybody, I mean, I don't know if when we had a press conference last week, but we had a shooting drill that he broke a record of, made more threes, made more shots in a 5-minute period than anybody I've ever coached. It wasn't in a game.
With the 3 threes against BC, and then him attacking more, he said it was something it was a concerted point of emphasis for himself. Do you sense he's starting to come out of it a little bit?
I hope so. You know, right now we don't know. He may get more minutes, maybe he has to do more tomorrow, because we don't know if Nate's going to be able to play. We didn't play Nate at the end of the game. I think I said something about it after the game, because his back, and he still hadn't practiced yet. He ran up and down dummy yesterday, and that was all he did, and so I have no idea what he's going to be able to do today. So if we don't have him, then Marcus and Joel Berry will be asked to do more. Kenny Williams will be asked to do more, and Theo will be asked to do more too, because that's 17 minutes a game that somebody else has got to take care of.
I'm sorry, the back, what is it spasms, is it bruise? I didn't.
It's a back injury.
Okay.
And I'm not being smart, I'm just telling you what I know.
Okay.
You know, they don't tell me whether it plays zone or man. I don't ask them, is it third vertebrae or fourth vertebrae?
With Marcus, is it the kind of thing where you don't really talk with him about it?
No, I talk to him about it, but it's like I said after the game. You know, you got to fight through things, and you got to play basketball. There's no sprinkle of dust I can put on him or anything like that, and he can't do the same thing. You just got to keep going to work and keep doing the job every single day, and things will come back to form. And you know, I'm really looking forward to when he comes back to form, because things tend to even out.
How do you think his attitude has been?
Fantastic, fantastic. Even, I guess it's 5 games now, and he's been the defensive award winner at least 2 of the 5, and maybe even 3.
Notre Dame's ability to score and do it at a little bit of a slower pace, does that test the defense differently, just to defend for that long against a team that can shoot the ball?
You know, you say that, I don't see that much. You know, I watched their game against Miami the other night, Wednesday night. Mondays, like I say, it's middle of basketball season, whenever it wins. I didn't see them controlling tempo. I saw them trying to score. It's not like Virginia, or not like what North Carolina State did coming in. And what I looked at, I mean, they're still averaging 78.5 a game. I would think that would put them in there. But if we go up there tomorrow and they do it, then I'll say I just didn't see that with them. But I've got one more tape that I'll watch on the plane tonight, and most of the time I don't really get involved until the day before the game, because I'm trying to work on our stuff. And today is the first day that we'll work on things specifically for Notre Dame.
Based on what you have seen of them, how are they different than last year's Notre Dame?
Not a lot. You know, they don't have Connaughton, they don't have Grant. Vesturier's playing even better than he did last year. Demetrius has got the ball in his hands more. He was tough for us to handle last year. His penetration hurt us in the finals of the ACC tournament final. Beecham last year, but he didn't play as much because they had Connaughton. But similar team, they spread you, they shoot a lot of threes, they make a lot of threes. They're shooting 38% for the year, 3-point line. But you got to do a good job with Demetrius because he breaks you down, and in August is really tough around the basket because he can turn to both shoulders, he can score, he can face up, and so it's a little bit of the same kind of match. But I think Connaughton and Jack Grant are both playing in the NBA too.
In light of how strong they shoot, how good of a test will this be to see how much the intensity defensively has come for your team?
Well, you know, we got our tails beat the last game. If you don't step up right now, there's something wrong with you. And so I fully expect that we'll even play at a higher level of intensity than we did on Monday night against Louisville, just because we got handed to ourselves the last time.
Before the last game on Monday against Louisville, Justin Jackson had been kind of going through a slump of his own. He had 16 points. Do you see him kind of signs of him emerging and breaking out? Or
You know, guys, I don't get carried away over one game, bad or good. You know, he didn't make any threes. He was 6 for 9. I told him yesterday, I said, you can help us because you're playing much better defensively than you did last year. The thing I keep harping to him is getting to the backboard and help us on the backboards. But I really don't. When Bryce goes for 39 and 23, what did I say to you guys? Let's not anoint him yet. Okay, I don't get so fired up either high or low. I'm just one game. Justin, Theo, Marcus, Nate, all those guys. And I'm not going to ship Joel Berry to Siberia after one game in the other direction because he's been pretty doggone consistent for us all year.
So how often do kids, in your career, how often do young kids get into a mental funk, and how much value, or how do you?
I haven't had it happen very often. I can remember one my first year, and other than that, I can't really remember one like this. And that was 28 years ago.
Do you have any tactics that you use to, or you just like let them hang let him get it?
Evidently, what we've done has been okay because that's the only one I can remember. And then Milt Newton, who's the general manager of Minnesota Timberwolves, went through a terrible stretch, and I just know at the end of the year that at Oklahoma State they had not lost a game at home, and we're down 2. We've got the basketball, and I said, let's take this, Milt, knock this sucker in, let's get the crap out of town. We went for 3 to win the game. He made the 3. We all ran off the court, got the crap out of town. And but that's the only time that I can remember we've had something like this. So either whatever we've done has worked and we haven't had it, or we're lucky that we haven't had it and now we don't know what we're doing. One of the two. You guys get to choose which one.
when you have a stretch like this with some guys, do you have to remind them of how good they are and the success that they've
Yeah, and you know, again, it's like I told you, I mean, 5, whatever, how many it is now, I don't know, because I don't do that kind of junk, but 5 games ago, we were leading the ACC in field goal percentage, and one of the top 10 in the country. Did you guys hear me coming in here and say, God, we can shoot the sucker, can't we? I didn't say that, we were a basketball team.
Coach, this Sunday marks the year since the passing of Dean Smith.
Mhm.
Reflecting a year later, what have you implemented in your coaching life that Smith taught you?
In the past year, nothing that I wasn't already doing. I mean, Coach is up there watching right now and saying, stop talking about their shooting. I know that's what he's saying, because that's what we always talked about. Tell those idiots in the press that he never would call you guys idiots to quit asking those kind of questions. That's what he's saying right now. But everything I do every day, patterned after Coach Smith. So in the year since he's passed, I haven't changed anything, because everything we do, it's 85% Coach Smith, 14% Bob Knight, John Thompson, Jerry Tarkanian, and 1% Roy Williams. And that may be giving you too much credit.
Coach, did you hear the news about Louisville before you came in?
I was just watching it on the news upstairs. With, Steve came in, Brad came in, they told me, we turned it on and watched it, and it's sad, sad, sad. It's, I've been there. My first year as a head coach, I had to bring my team together Halloween night and tell them that the NCAA had just put us on probation. We were not going to go to the NCAA tournament. And I had some great kids on that team that wanted to show people they could still be a pretty good basketball team without Danny Manning, Chris Piper, and all those guys. And it was one of the hardest meetings I've ever had. So I feel for Rick, because he had 2 guys particularly that came there from Cleveland State and Drexel that wanted to see if they could be on a team that'd make a run during the tournament. And Rick and I talked about it for 30 seconds before the game started on Monday night, and I just feel for him having to bring that kind of message to the team, and you feel for those kids, and it's, like I say, it's one of the saddest things. And I mean, on that team was Milton Newton, the general manager, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kevin Pritchard, the general manager of the Indiana Pacers, Mark Randall, who was the #1 draft choice to the Chicago Bulls, a few guys that we went to the national championship game 2 years later. So it's a hard meeting, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me right now because I'm so disappointed that we don't have any finalization to our thing. I'm very relieved or cautiously relieved or whatever you want to put it. I don't care. I'm to the point that I don't really care what anybody else thinks what I say, but I say cautiously relieved. Is that a good statement, Steve? That we have no allegations in men's basketball, but still we've been punished for 3 years already. You know, I wish there was some way that there could be a speedier resolve, but our people are trying to do the best they can do. The NCAA's probably doing things the way they do them. And, you know, it's been very frustrating for me, but the gist of this whole conversation should be what I feel for Louisville's players and coaches that didn't have anything to do with that.
In light of how sad it is, and I know you don't want to tell anyone what to do, but for fans or for those players and coach as well, how did you get through that year, and what is the best approach to take to the rest of the season?
Well, you know, Rick's been around a few days too. You know, he's going to choose what's best for him and his team and his staff because he knows them better. For us, we just wanted to play every day and be the best team we could be, and we knew we couldn't go to the big dance. And I still have under the glass on my desk at the house an article about the Kansas kids, and they were playing because they love to play basketball. And that's what we found some refuge in is, and I heard Rick say something about they have 9 regular season games left, and they have, did he say 4 home games?
Yes.
And that he's got to get his guys to play the best they can play and their fans to support them the best they can. But Rick doesn't need Roy Williams telling him what to do, but he'll figure it out. But he knows those kids and his staff. He got Ralph Willard to come back and be with him because he thought he'd be a great year. And Ralph was with him 100 years ago as an assistant. And but they'll figure out a way. And you just, my own experience was just that when we just tried to play every day and do the best we could do.
Have you heard anything from ESPN after your green room comments?
No. Nope.
Working on a broader story kind of about that, but just the health of college basketball these days, outside of March and early April. Do you find that the sport is in good shape in terms of interest? And I know you don't pay attention to things like TV ratings, for instance, but attendance is a bit down here. What are your general thoughts just about kind of the health of the sport?
Well, I think we're really, really in good shape. I think the really good storylines are the ones that are ignored, and the problems are the ones that are always publicized because that's the way of the world. We have so many games on TV. I mean, that's the reason attendance is down, and it will continue that way. You know, if you've got a place at Duke that's got 10,000, those people are still going. If we had 15 or 16,000, we'd fill it up every time too. But if you have a huge arena, your number's going to be down. I mean, the guy who was my best friend in high school, best man in my wedding, hadn't been to a game here since '05, and he lives in Lenore. And he said, "Why should I come down there?" You said 17 steps. I said, "Well, 17 steps." He said, 17 steps from my recliner to the bed. Why in dickens should I get in the car and drive down there and I don't get the replays down there? And I mean, that's one of my best friends in the whole world. So I think there are some problems, but I think we've got some great things and great kids, a great game, the greatest tournament there is. But again, those storylines aren't told nearly as much. And, you know, for ESPN, you know, if I'll take your word for it that the ratings are down, attendance is down, if that's what you said. And again, every game's on TV, so, you know, there's so many things to do. I got a new TV yesterday.
But only one channel still.
And the one was trying to teach me how to change channels.
Why?
Yeah, and so I'm trying to change channels, and one said music, and I turned it over there, and it said $10.99. Well, I said, I'm not staying here. You know, there's Netflix, there's movies on TV, there's all this kind of stuff. You know, and I was stunned.
Because you gotta get Netflix, that's cool.
Is that good?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Is that movies?
Yeah, movies.
Okay, so
TVs,
it's not-
everything.
It's not NetJets where people fly.
No, Netflix is good.
Netflix, okay.
What are some of those issues that you would address if you could overall with the sport? If you or say the commissioner, if you will.
Scheduling, TV, dominating everything and asking everything and then wanting everything and not being necessarily our partner. Quicker solving of problems. You know, you have the right to a speedy trial in the United States of America, and we've had one go on for over 3 years. I could be a hell of a commissioner for 3 or 4 days, and then I'd find out that I wasn't made for the job.
Shorter press conferences. Thank you. Only because